Hey, this is Joseph, John, and Jared from the MTG Thoughtcast, and you're watching one of our Fallout Commander deck reviews. If you want to watch all four of them together in one episode, you can click somewhere over here. There's going to be a card to that. But otherwise, let's get into the video.
Let's get scrappy.
Scrap me, brother.
All right, this is the Naya precon deck from the Fallout decks. The face commander for this guy is Dogmeat Ever Loyal, which is a legendary creature dog for Naya, green, white, red. It's a 3/3. When Dogmeat enters the battlefield, you meal. Good God. You mill
Dog treats.
dog treats. When dog I'm all kinds of jacked up over this card. When Dogmeat enters the battlefield, mill 5 cards, then return an aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. The next ability is whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, you make a junk token, which sacrifice and tap to impulse draw you a card.
At sorcery speed.
So we have Dogmeat Ever Loyal as the face commander. This deck is literally just artifact equipment Naya, where you have a sub theme of making junk tokens. So
Auras
that also
well. It's equipment and auras.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. Equipment and auras, not necessarily.
And as a jump in from Fish, Dogmeat has been a mainstay of the games since the very first one. He's one of the first companions you come across in the first game, and has been a mainstay in every title since.
Aw, he is ever loyal.
Yeah, that's sick. I think this card is actually cool, and the deck is built very well around it.
Yeah.
Like I briefly mentioned earlier, most of the creatures in this deck are all reprints. Are all new cards, so they're all specifically kind of catering to that how to make junk tokens sub theme that Dogmeat has going on. This deck can feel very Voltron-y, but it also has a lot of ability to just go in a totally different way and be very like widespread and not focus on just dumping everything onto one creature. But let's just get into the deck and we can talk about it more.
Do the alternate commander first, though.
Yeah, the alternate commander here is Preston Garvey, the Minuteman for 2 and Naya. So 5 total CMC. Legendary creature, human soldier, 4/4. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a green aura enchantment token named Settlement attached to up to 1 target land you control. It has enchant land, and enchanted land has tap, add 1 mana of any color. So it fixes your mana base for you, which is cool. But I don't think you need it in Naya. You got other ways to do that. The cool part for Preston is whenever Preston Garvey Minuteman attacks, untap each enchanted permanent you control. So he kind of functionally is acting like the worst Seedborn Muse you've ever seen. And for 5 mana, the price of a Seedborn Muse, you should just play that instead. There's a tiny bit of synergy in here with Dogmeat.
It's weird vigilance.
What was I thinking of?
Yeah, it's kind of strange that he wants to be like giving you auras onto your lands to help you fix your colors when you've cast him already having Naya and 5 mana.
Yeah, it's super, like, by the time you cast him to fix your colors, that should have already happened, and this card sucks. So
yeah, and it's not like it's not like you can hold up that mana to do junk tokens off turn. Those are sorcery speed too. So it's like,
exactly.
Unless maybe if you take this and try to build it into like maybe Aura Flash, it might be okay, but
you really want to play him with bigger on the inside, which is a 5 mana. It's either 4 or 5 mana aura that enchants like an artifact or a creature, and you can tap it to add 2 mana and give your next spell Cascade.
Notably not in this deck.
Well, it's a Doctor Who card.
Yeah.
But it's like, again, pull him out of the deck and build another deck around him. Like, he does cool things, just not really here.
Maybe don't build another deck around him because he's bad.
He's cool.
This card sucks, dude. What are you talking about?
I think he can do cool things. I believe in Preston. There's another settlement that needs my help, and it's Preston.
Yeah. Preston is that's his whole quest line thing. Preston is an important quest line giver about protecting settlements from Fallout 4, according to Fish.
Thanks, fish.
Yes, but in this deck, just cut him for Seedborn Muse. And with that, some other notable legends that are in this deck. We have Duchess Wayward Tavern Keeper, which is a way better value engine than Preston will ever be. Says 3 in a red for a 4/3 human citizen. Has an ability that says Hunter for hire. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a quest counter on it, which she cares about. Her next ability says pay 1, remove a quest counter from a permanent you control, and make a junk token. So there's a lot of cool ways in here that, like,
sick.
Naya doesn't have good card draw except for like impulse drawing. So any way to make a junk token in this deck and get yourself another card is going to be great. She's awesome because she doesn't have to attack herself. That's like one of the biggest problems with Preston. He has 0 protection, doesn't give himself any like auras.
0.
He helps himself 0% and helps you fix your mana on turn 5, which is insane. This card is so bad. Anyway, next legend that is worth mentioning, Ian the Reckless. I've got for 1 in a red. He's a 2/1 human warrior. Whenever Ian the Reckless attacks, if it's modified, which it should be because you're playing equipments and auras, and there's other +1/+1 stuff in here too. Whenever Ian attacks, if it's modified, you may have it deal damage equal to its power to any target, or to you and any target. So that's important. You can't just like fireball someone with Ian because you'll fireball yourself and die. But if there's a problem creature on the board, you can just nuke it real quick, which is where he comes in handy.
I'd pay like 3 or 4 life to deal 4 damage to something on the board.
Absolutely. That's where he really shines. Like he's basically just a lightning bolt on a creature for you to just do when you need to. So he's really, really strong. Honestly, just a good red card. Great. So the last notable I have here is 3-Dog Galaxy News DJ, which is definitely the weirdest card name I've ever read in my entire life. It's 1 Boros, 1 red white for human bard, 1/5. So 3 mana for a 1/5, like a big wall. That's kind of a lot. Plus a bunch of other stuff. So whenever you attack, you may pay 2 and sacrifice an aura attached to 3-Dog. So notably, he's a little weak because he doesn't synergize with half of the things. He doesn't synergize with equipments at all. So this is one of those cards that if you tune it to be like more equipment or more aura focused, he's a good card. But if you want to just play this deck regularly, you probably should cut this. But anyway, so pay 2, sacrifice an aura attached to 3-Dog. When you sacrifice an aura this way, for each other attacking creature you control, create a token that's a copy of the aura attached to that creature. So
that's nuts.
Yeah. To me, aura 3-Dog should be Selesnya. He should be 1 green-white because he cares about auras and not equipments. Like, that's inverted from the color pie. This is
True.
A Naya deck. He could have just been green-white 1. So
we need another Boros commander that cares about equipment, though.
No. So I do
so many, and they're all bad.
I like how they're not all bad. Brunner Battlehammer and Astor Bearer Blades are really good, but those are the only 2 exceptions. I actually play those on Arena. That's the only reason I actually know those off rip like that. But 3-Dog is a weird color pie break that I don't hate, but is just kind of strange because it means if you were to take him out of this deck and try to build it, there's almost no support for this because red auras are almost non-existent and all bad. So that would just not work. So anyway, this allows you to do kind of an alpha strike and end the game. He's kind of a game ender in this deck. If you're swinging with all of your aura suited up guys and then you just slam everyone, copy all that stuff. That's kind of the idea here. But yeah, so that's the only other legendary worth mentioning here. There's a bunch of legendary creatures in this deck, but they're all kind of like very specific for the deck or do something pretty unimpressive. So moving on to some other new cards that I liked. A legendary artifact creature, Codsworth Handy Helper. He gives all your commanders Ward 2, which is sick. He taps for 2 white, and you can spend that on auras or equipments only. And he also taps to attach an aura or equipment you control to target your creature control. So
This reads to me like the glue that will hold this deck together.
Yes.
It's like not exactly exciting, but it does very, very nice things.
Yeah. So for free, like if you have a really, say for instance, you have a Colossus Hammer. It gives your creature +13/+13, but it costs 8 to equip this card. But this costs 0 with this card out. You can just move it around. Or
this deck doesn't include a Colossus Hammer?
No, which we'll get to later. It's on the upgrade list. Like, I can't believe they made Equipment Matters a precon without that. But anyway, so Codsworth can move your auras around. And unless I'm mistaken, that's the only card ever made that can do that. Like this.
Now
there's Squire.
Nope, there's
one? Go ahead. One of you say the card you're thinking about.
I said Brass's Squire.
Brass's Squire? Oh, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, Brass.
It has the exact same line of text as Codsworth.
Oh, gotcha.
No, Brass Squire does equipment only.
So Codsworth is...
can Codsworth move auras?
Auras.
Yes,
Yeah, okay. So I was right. Codsworth
cool.
moves auras. It's the only card that can. So really, really good.
That is not true either.
Oh, never mind. I'm corrected twice.
One of my favorite things that happens on this podcast ever is Jared confidently being wrong about something and then John just being the oracle.
It's so funny. I feel like, just as a little tangent, I'm not normally the bull in the china shop person in any kind of environment, except for this podcast. I just say things and you guys have the knowledge to either be like, no, or actually yes, and this is why. And it's great. It works out. So yeah, Codsworth is really cool. I like this card a lot. And the last like new card in the deck that I'm gonna hit, because there's so many, is Junk Jet. It's an equipment for 1 and a red. When Junk Jet enters, create a junk token, and it also has pay 3 and sacrifice another artifact. Double equipped creature's power until end of turn. So it's just a fast way to just slap somebody real quick if they let this through, because it doesn't actually buff your creature at all. You do have to pay 3, but it's just a combat trick that you make your opponents be aware of. We can move into our upgrade paths now. So what I have for my top 3, I find it hard to like limit what I was doing with the upgrade path for this deck, because like the theme didn't matter to me. So I was just like, 20 of these cards could come out and be better, but I did pick 3 because
I'm proud of you. I'm gonna rein you in.
Last time I went a little overboard.
Yeah. We're assuming that we're upgrading this deck with the face commander wanting to do auras and equipments.
Yes.
Upgrade the deck for me, Jared.
I have 3, but I also have like 20 cards if you guys want to know later.
I don't want to know the 20 cards. I just want to know the 3.
I might make a in-depth upgrade guide for this deck where it's like 1/5 of the deck leaves and becomes way better. Okay, so the best upgrades that I could find were Shishiro, the Shattered Blade. Let me pull that card up so I can
let me see.
know what I'm talking about. So it's 2 Gruul, legendary creature snakes.
Yeah.
Whenever an aura or equipment, so cares about both of those. That's kind of where I drew the line for the upgrades. There's a lot of great cards that care about equipments only or auras only, but this deck is trying to do them both together. So all of the upgrade cards had to care about both of them.
Nice.
Yeah, get on theme. So whenever you cast, or whenever an aura or equipment enters the battlefield, so better than casting. Whenever an aura or enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 red spirit creature token with menace. So you're going wide, and the tokens have menace themselves. So that synergizes with your commander, because every time a creature gets in for damage, you make a junk token, unless I'm misremembering that.
No, you got it.
Okay, so yeah, that synergizes perfectly with your commander, because it's really hard to block menace. And when you soup up something with menace, it just becomes something you don't want to deal with. So you're getting in. And the second ability is, at the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each modified creature you control, which should be everything on your board. So this is awesome. Perfect upgrade for this deck. The next one I have is SRAM, Senior Edificer, which everyone should know what that does. But in case you don't, he's 1 and a white for a legendary creature, Dwarf Advisor 2/2 that says whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle, you draw a card. This just makes this deck run. Quality of life upgrade for this deck. And then the last one, Danitha Capuchin Paragon, is kind of a similar quality of life upgrade. First strike, vigilance, lifelink on a 2/2 body for 2 and a white. And it says are an equipment spells you have are an equipment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. So it just makes everything a little bit easier for you.
Yeah, super good.
The other Danith, another one of the Danithas would be really sick in there as well. Danitha Benalia's Hope.
I have that on my long list. If you guys want to know, put it in the comments.
Hey, I called that one. Yeah, like a 5 mana 4/4. Same abilities like first strike, lifelink, or something like that. ETB, take a aura or equipment from your graveyard, put it into play, attached to either her or a creature you control. So gets your stuff back when they die. Really, really cool.
Yeah. Yes, this deck, I didn't give an overall impression yet. I like it. I think it's horrible. That's why there's so many upgrades that I made for this deck. And if you do want to know them all, just ask me.
I'm so sad you didn't want to talk about Strong Back. That's my favorite card in that deck.
Oh, let me just bring it up really quickly so we can talk about it. This is our podcast where we get to talk about literally whatever we want. So,
Yeah,
exactly.
We make the rules here.
Strong Back is an aura. Where is that card? Strong Back, 2 and a green for an aura. Enchant creature. Equip abilities you activate that target enchanted creature cost 3 less to activate. Aura spells you cast the target enchanted creature cost 3 less to cast. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 for each aura and equipment attached to it. I think this card is cool. I personally would cut this from the deck because it encourages you to Voltron, which encourages your opponents to remove that one creature. That is good.
Dude, this is kind of a Voltron deck.
It kind of is, but it's also like the strength of this deck comes from not relying on one creature. Like you get to swing in with a lot of things and make a ton of junk and then have a really consistent game.
It seems like they put a lot of ways in to make sure that if you are Voltroning, you're going to keep your creature like...
True, because they give that one thing that's... Codsworth gives all your commanders ward 2. So
yeah. Same with
that.
Also being able to move auras over as you're like, if someone targets something, like, what's the instant?
Inventory management.
That's a sick card, by the way.
Split second, 2 mana, split second instant for each aura and equipment you control. You may attach it to a creature you control. So, like, who cares if you're Voltroning and they go to Swords to Plowshare as your creature? You're just like, inventory management, move it all over.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
I think Strong Back is a really cool card. I just don't think it's the best card you could be playing. There's a lot of other 3 mana auras that are just way better than that.
I get it. It sort of does nothing on its own other than give +2/+2.
Yeah, and then it makes it easier for you to attach, so it makes your opponents
even more
incentivized.
This is a freaking bat signal of a card. You're like, I'm putting this on here. We're going ham. Like,
yeah, your opponents know, like, oh, Strong Back goes on that creature. I have to remove it as soon as I possibly can.
Yeah,
because it's gonna get gross. So that's to me,
cool.
like, I don't like to telegraph my plays to my opponents that much.
Yeah,
i.e., small board states.
Hey, nice assessment. I think I might be on your side about Strong Back now.
Thanks. I don't like things that are just like, remove this, please.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like...
This deck has a heroic intervention in it.
Very, very good reprint with the heroic intervention. There's my upgrade guide, or my reprint value. Okay. Notably, there's a Blasphemous Act in here, which is sick. Pure Steel Paladin almost snuck through my radar of reprints, because the art is... I don't know if they redid the art for this set.
They did.
Okay, that's why.
These kind of Universe Beyond decks, any reprints get reskinned to match the theme.
Gotcha. Okay. I didn't actually know that, but now I know, and that will help.
Knowing is half the battle.
True. Pure Steel Paladin is just really sick. Honestly, it's one of the best cards in this deck. Whenever it's 2 white for a 2/2. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you draw a card. So insane already, and then it has Metalcraft. So as long as you have 3 equipment or 3 artifacts, all your equips have equip 0. Yeah, you make artifacts in this deck. So pretty easily, you end up with all your equipments costing nothing.
It's definitely the best card for the equipment half of the deck. What's funny to me, I'm looking at the official Knoxfield list. There is an equal amount of artifacts and enchantments in this deck. They've split it exactly down the middle.
I did not actually pay attention.
Yeah, it's 17 and 17. Also, there's only 18 creatures in the deck, which feels low. This
feels
seems like you're gonna draw the wrong half of the deck a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's why the upgrade thing I actually made is so much larger than the 3 that you would.
But also, like, if you start tipping the scales too far in the creature way, you have a bunch of enablers and nothing to do with it. Because again, it's a delicate balance. I think that Dogmeat does a cool job at, like, it sort of is playing out as like a reanimator deck in a way. Like, it's almost like you want to mill and then reanimate a bunch of your stuff. Also, is this the deck that has? Oh, it's not the deck that. Never mind. Oh, there's a card we're going to talk about for the energy deck that should probably just be in this deck.
I think we're thinking of the same card right now.
Yeah.
I think Dogmeat's cool. I actually kind of ignored his first ability with the mill 5 cards, return an Arn equipment, because that's not like this. To me, anything that's like an ETB on a commander, when you want to care about it, you need to kind of build Blink into your deck where you can recur that value a lot without having to pay commander tax like every turn. So to me, when he comes in and mills 5 cards, gets you an Arn equipment.
Yeah, I mean, he's never going to die because no one's going to shoot the dog.
No. Also, rude. Like, what are you doing?
You have like the kangaroo court win.
As far as upgrades, I don't think, or reprints, I keep mixing those words up. I don't think there's any notable other reprints in I guess All That Glitters. Mantle of Agents, maybe.
There's good RS, good equipments. Did you say what you'd cut?
Squirrel Nest. Speaking of cards I would cut, Squirrel Nest. Get that card out of there.
Yeah.
That card is so.
It's kind of trash.
It's a random aura that just says like, enchanted land has tap, make a 1/1 squirrel creature token. Why is that in here? I mean, it's an aura.
It also, like, Squirrel Nest is really good with Preston Garvey.
Lands. It attached to the land. That's anything in here. That's why, like,
Preston Garvey,
like those 2 cards, like Animal Friend and whatever Preston, they go in their own deck and they get to just not win games together.
Make a bunch of squirrels. Not win games together.
That's because that's what they'll do if you build that. Okay, I have a long list of cuts. I'm just gonna fly through them, and I want to see your reactions.
Give me the top 3 because we gotta move.
Okay, top 3. Almost Perfect. Card is terrible. I know it's an enchantment or like some sort of award in the game, but the card sucks. It's 6 mana to make your creature into a 9/10 that literally does nothing else. It does have indestructible after that, but Swords to Plowshares gets
I'm
around
living
that
for the hot
1
takes
mana.
in your upgrade guides. The last 2 episodes that we've done, your hot takes have had me floored.
Dude, 6 mana to make your creature a 9/10? That's horrible.
That's horrible. Thought about putting Teferi's protection in the deck.
Bro, I'm just saying, these cuts I can be ruthless with. That card sucks. If you're paying 6 mana to make 1 creature a 9/10,
all right, move on.
You can pay 1 mana to play Colossus Hammer instead.
Yes.
That is so much better. That's why, like, that card sucks. Colossus Hammer is amazing because it also combos with Kemba's Outfitters. That's a turn 2 14/14 that you can swing with. Those are
Singleton, which will happen 5% of the time.
I play that combo in my Aster deck on Arena, and I play it almost every single game.
Anyway.
And that deck wins a lot. So anyway, number 2 is Vault 21 House Gambit. That card is bad. Don't play it. And then my third cut is actually, I'm going to skip down to Animal. Well, we talked about Animal Friend. That card's bad. Chaos Warp. That card's not bad, but it should just be a Grasp of Fate in this deck because Grasp of Fate is an enchantment and hits all of your opponents instead of just one. So
yeah, actually,
that's just a strict, like, better card. Same CMC, synergizes with your deck better. So, yeah, for those of you who want the whole shebang.
Ooh, or Buried in the Garden.
Not familiar with that.
2 green white for an aura. You enchant a land. It makes the land tap for an additional mana and an Oblivion Rings something.
Oh, sick. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, so there for this slot, I actually had like there are so many cards that exist that are better than Chaos Warp here. Chaos Warp is only good when you don't have access to better colors and better removal because you give them something back.
I'm gonna build a Preston Garvey deck, and I'm gonna play it against you, Jared. I'm just racking up ideas right now.
I will Gargo the Watcher you into the ground. My $25 budget CD or not CDH, just budget commander deck that loses to everything else will be you.
All right, we should
that's a challenge I'm willing to take on. That's pretty much all my notes here, so we can move on.
Nice.
To
we got one more deck to talk about. It's science. John, did you have any parting thoughts on Scrappy Survivors?
Nah, I mean, I'm probably more hyped on it than probably Jared is on it because, like,
don't hear me wrong. I think this deck is actually really cool, but I think it's really freaking bad out of the box. It's just a lot of clunky, bad equipment, bad auras, and weird creatures. Anyway,
yeah.
No, that's totally fair. Yeah, this one, I think I agree with you in some part of it. Yeah, this is one of the ones that you throw enough good upgrade, and this might kind of have a similar feel to the Mutants one, right? Like if you want to go upgrades on this, pick a lane. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's cool that he and some of the other cards in this deck are affected, can affect both auras and equipment. If you dial one of them back and increase the count on the other one, it'll synergize and feel a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess the caveat to be aware of is you don't want to just build Sithis with red splashed in. Like that would obviously be the strongest way you could do this, but that already exists. Just build Sithis if that's your plan. So I think, to me, if you actually want to build dog meat, you should try to do them both because that's kind of where he shines. Like there are tons of Boros commanders that do equipments well, better than dog meat.
Aura.
There's Calyx and Sithis are both better at auras than dog meat will ever be, and so like try to do them both, but definitely like I could literally like pick a better card for almost every single card that comes in the box here, but I'm not going to do that because that's like ad nauseum. That's 100 different swaps. So if you want to build this deck, do your best to build it with both equipment and aura, but also there's a lot of options that also gets in. There's a lot of things I didn't cut because I'm like, this is just what you would choose to play personally instead of like what's better to play here. Like there's a lot of areas of gray where it's just personal preference over actual value. So yeah, those are good.
I like it.